Another shot. Hi! Hi, everybody. Once again, I'm going to be your first storyteller of the evening. My name is Mel Blumenthal. I am the outreach coordinator for female storytellers. And about 10 years ago, a woman named Lauren Wiggins walked into my office where we were working, and she's like, Mel, I saw the coolest thing when I was out in LA this past weekend. I was at a show, and there were like these amazing women who just got up on stage and just started telling stories about their life. And it was hilarious, and it was heartbreaking, and it was effing awesome. And I want to start that here in Tucson. Because if I have to go to another comedy show and hear a lineup of racist, sexist, misogynistic, and anti-LGBT humor, I'm gonna start breaking some shit. Do you want to help? And I was like, well, we're really short-staffed right now, so we should probably do everything in our power to keep you out of jail. I guess I'm in. And it's been 10 years, and it's been a pretty awesome experience seeing the community that has built up around this. So here we go. You guys are awesome. I'm standing on a cliff, overlooking a 60-foot drop. My hands gripping the ledge, thinking, holy shit, what just happened? For a moment, I think, just jump. It is game over. It is 2 weeks before the start of my sophomore year of high school, and I have just run out of a house, Tear Street, because I have just gotten the worst haircut of a lifetime. Now, this is no ordinary bad haircut, y'all. This was a defacement. This was a, you cannot show your face in public without hats level butchering. The first red flag is that I had been taken to see a psychic hairdresser. Yes. She cut your hair according to your rising moon. If any of you are curious, this could have taken place in none other than Bisbee, Arizona. What I had asked for was 2 or 3-ish soft layers to gently frame my face. What the spirits apparently communicated to her was 70s mullet Muppet shag layers and put some stank on it, darling. The first layer was about an inch short, and the rest of it fell in 2 to 3 inch cascading waterfall pieces, uneven on either side because she had been drinking. Everybody, Bisbee, Arizona. As a very, very self-conscious teenager who hated the way I looked, I never wore my hair up. As a rather ugly duckling, as a small child, I had formed the habit very early on of always wearing my hair down to cover as much of my face as I could, right? I was now forced to wear my hair on top of my head in a ponytail while the shag abomination grew out, right? This was a big departure from the norm, so naturally people were curious. So there was one day, I'm sitting in a circle of my friends at lunch, and all of them were like, come on, Mel, it can't be that bad. Like, just let us see it. We're your friends. We're not going to make fun of you. So I took the ponytail out and shook out the Muppet monstrosity, and everybody in the circle just went, ooh. I kid you not, one girl started crying. It was that bad. So, as you can well imagine, from that point on, I had some pretty serious hair trauma. Moving forward, I never got my hair cut, ever. It was just like maintenance only. I didn't step into a salon for a good decade plus. And when I did, trims only. I never had any style to my hair, nothing. It was just long, simple, and never short, ever. You know how people, when they go through like big life transitions, like especially bad breakups, they'll get their hair cut as like a symbolic gesture of renewal or moving forward, right? Not this gal. No way. It didn't matter what the circumstances was. It could be me sitting in that salon chair like, well, he stole my identity, emptied my bank accounts, I'm probably going to be homeless next week. He ran off with my best friend, and he took the dog. Just a trim. Watching you, just a trim. I'm standing in a circle with my lady besties. We're all in our like early to mid 20s at this time, and one of them has just graduated from graduate school, so we're all out celebrating her. And the friend who's graduated has rather long hair, and she's just made the comment that she has to get it chopped off now that she's done with school. And that comment struck me as a little bit odd, so I asked her, what do you mean you have to get it cut now that you've graduated? And she said, well, I'm entering the corporate world now, and long hair isn't professional, so of course I have to get it cut. I was like, what in the patriarchal slap of second wave feminist horse shit is this? I was like, wait a minute, what are you telling me? Like, long, traditionally feminine hair isn't allowed in the corporate world? And she said, it's not that it's not allowed per se. It's just that I, and you for that matter, won't be taken seriously if you have long hair. I was like, there is not enough vodka in this bar to unpack everything wrong with what's being said right now. And she said, I'm serious, Mel. We have to transition into the adult world. Long hair isn't adult. Playtime is over. And I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I mean, this woman practically minored in gender and women's studies, and yet, here we were. Like, I was just going over all of the classical conditioning that was going into the formulation of these beliefs. And then I even started questioning myself a little bit, because even back then, I knew that there was hair prejudice and discrimination, but bull in the china shop be damned. Bring it on style. The corporate world was going to have to adjust its settings to me because I was never going to have short hair. I'm standing in a doctor's office. It's last October, and it feels like the hundreds of doctor's offices that I've been standing in for the past 2 months. Because in August, I had found a lump in my breast. In September, a diagnostic mammogram and biopsy had confirmed the worst. Stage 3 breast cancer, and it has spread to my lymph nodes. The tumor is big and aggressive, and I have to begin treatment immediately. Now, being onboarded into the world of cancer is destabilizing and jarring in and of itself. But when you have to do it at expedited speeds, you don't even have the chance to stop and ask yourself, wait, what just happened? And this doctor's office that I'm now standing in is my oncologist. And she is a powerhouse, and she is kind, and I am grateful. And she's going over my treatment plan with me, which I now know will mean chemo. And I'm no stranger to chemo. I know those infusion chairs. I held my father's hand through chemo, and I watched him lose his battle to cancer as he died slowly and horribly and painfully. And this is my only frame of reference now for the journey that I am about to begin. And as I tell her this, my voice starts to shake as the panic sets in. And she puts her hand on my shoulder and she just says, "No, that is not going to happen to you. Your case is so different from his. You are going to make it. That is not going to be your story." And I took a breath and I said, "Okay." And in that moment, I resolved to prove her right. But then I asked her, "Is this the part where I lose all of my hair?" And she said, "Yes, sweetie. You're going to lose all of your hair. And you have such beautiful hair. But it will grow back." And I thought about having to be bald and all of the iterations of short hair that I would have to have over the next 2 years that I swore I would never, ever have. And in that moment, it just felt so heavy and impossible. And I've been thinking about, over the past 10 years, being a part of this organization and how I've touted the importance of being your true, authentic self, and how I've encouraged others in speaking their truth to power. And I realized that I haven't been being honest, because this is not my truth. This is my truth. And my truth is, I fucking beat cancer. Yeah. It's not easy. And this is what I look like. I think about what I would tell my 15-year-old self, standing on that cliff, actually considering jumping for a second because of a bad haircut. The one who could still run home and hug her dad. Baby girl, this does not make you who you are. In fact, it is the least important thing about yourself. Do not torture yourself over the ridiculous pursuit in what other people perceive pretty should be. Pretty is not the rent that you have to pay for your existence on this earth. Say the quiet things out loud when it is in the interest of strengthening the single greatest relationship that you can have, and that is the one you have with yourself. Learn now to be your own best friend. It's going to sting. Time will heal. And, as Mama RuPaul says, if you can't love yourself, how in the hell can you love anybody else?